So to keep us from falling apart, we'll write songs in the dark. And to stop us from fading away, we'll write for a better day. This vomiting of anguish, an eruption of the soul, to radiate energy, to comfort and console, to scatter our thoughts, to splatter our spirit, a blizzard of fire with all we transmit. So to keep us from falling apart, we'll write songs in the dark. And to stop us from fading away, we'll ride for a better day. So to keep us from falling apart, we'll write songs in the dark. And to stop us from fading away, we'll ride for a better. So to keep us from falling apart, we'll write songs in the dark. And to keep us from fading away, we'll ride for a better day. So to keep us from falling apart, we'll write songs in the dark. And to keep us from fading away, we'll rise. It's insatiable what we're waiting for. 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 And we'll flourish. And we'll thrive. And we'll flourish. The spring's planted off our minds. And we'll flourish. And we'll thrive. Yeah. And it's insatiable what we're waiting for. It's insatiable what we're waiting for. So to keep us from falling apart, we'll write songs in the dark. And to keep us from fading away, we'll write for a better day. So to keep us from falling apart, we'll write songs in the dark. And to stop us from fading away, we'll write for a better day.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another round of 16 match, the second one of this weekend. My name is Gary McCrill, and joining me in the casting booth is the lovely Philoxen. And today, Philoxen will be witnessing a matchup between China and Ukraine. What are your thoughts on this one?
Indeed. Well, we're looking at another match that has a pretty big seating difference between the two countries. We covered one before, which ended up in Philippines sweeping their opponents. So hopefully not going to be the occasion here. But here it's seed 5 versus seed 16. So we haven't seen difference. However, even though on paper it looks pretty one-sided, I would not be so sure. Because according to the group stage stats, Ukraine overall was the third strongest country by those, and they also managed to top their group, taking down almost everyone and only dropping to Russia 1 point, losing 4-5 on tiebreaker. So pretty interesting, pretty stacked lineup from both countries. I mean, of course, Ukraine having the veteran lineup of Magnata, Irama, and all the others, while China are bringing the big guns as well, that being Crystal, and also the strongest individual player of the tournament by stats, which is LOL235, also known as David. So yeah, that is one hell of a name power from the side of China, but as mentioned, Ukraine probably does have some cards under their sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about how, Ukraine number 3 in group stage standing, but it is important to remember that at the end of the day, China was one of the teams that got the auto bye to the bracket stage, being in the top 8 seeded teams. And of course, as you mentioned before, right, in the last showing that we've seen from China, they came out explosive. You were talking about name power, and I think it's very, very relevant in this matchup, right? Looking out for David and Crystal to be the big heavy hitters for China this time round. But at the end of the day, Philoxen, I still do think that there is hope. Maybe if the group stage standings were not the best indication of such, or they might, present a more misleading representation of these two teams head-to-head matchup, I do still think that given the lower SR of this pool, Ukraine will, at least have a fighting chance. I think we were speaking a little bit, we were speaking with Felicia earlier on about this matchup, and she did mention how she believed that Ukraine would be able to take at least 2 points. So what those 2 points will be, I think we will have to wait and see. But we have to get through the bans first, and that we shall. It's going to be the DT2 and the Free Mod 4 bans coming out, alongside the Hidden 2 and the No Mod 3. So pretty interesting spread of bans that we'll have here, but we can't really talk about them as we're jumping straight into the first map. It's going to be Free Mod 2, No Miso Rigid Girl.
Yep, indeed. That map has a pretty interesting story. It was initially, planned to be a HD1 qualifiers, then get pushed all the way back to round of 16, here being Fremont 1. It is mixed consistency. This is what exactly it tests. It has a flow aim aspect, it has the awkward aim jumps, it has some slider action as well. So I have a good mix of everything to test your consistency. So this one is gonna set the record straight of who is feeling more stable overall in this match when it comes to your aim, comes to your steadiness overall. And yeah, also testing your roster depth. So this is free mod, and you need to see some mod combinations from both of the sides.
This is the first pick coming out from Ukraine, and being the lower seeded team, it makes sense that they will want to dip their toes into something a little bit more accessible, right? I mean, I don't think that this map is particularly difficult for any player in the lobby or any of the 8 players that we'll be seeing here. But it does have its own unique flares you were talking about before, right? The slider aim is apparent here. You have some XL decel bursts, a lot of funky aim patterns that only become exacerbated when you're tagging on either the hidden or hard drop while you're playing this map. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting consistency check, and I think it's going to be pretty nice testing the waters for Ukraine, seeing which mods they can pick into and seeing if there is potential weakness for China throughout the course of this match. Philoxen, I mean, before we get into this matchup, right, which players are you looking out for from Ukraine? Because I think a lot of the name power from China is very, very obvious and clear. I mean, not a lot of players know about Ukraine, so tell us who you're looking out for.
I'm definitely looking at Roman and Yurama. Mostly those two are, a very deadly duo, especially when it comes to the HD modification. So probably going to be taking that one. There's a Chrono 4G, who is also known as Criterion. Used to be an OWC captain for Team Ukraine for many years, then took a little break and now he's back. And I mean, we're also looking at Kulubra, who is, the prodigy guy from the Ukrainian side, who is quite prominent. The only question is, will he be able to keep up with the pulse increasing from round to round? But yeah, overall, the lineup that we have here, except for Kulubra, is very much experienced when it comes to those tournaments. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna put up a very much valiant effort, but we are yet here to load into the first map of the match.
Yep.
Prime versus China, there we are, and we're seeing mod combinations right off the bat, as mentioned. Roma and Roman with HDs, Krona with HR, Kulubra with no mod, and I believe no one inside of China is over modding, but we saw a disconnect from one of the 4 players. The question is, will the abort be enforced or not? There is still time for that, but they need to let the referee know in case they really want to abort down.
Yeah, no. As of right now, we haven't quite gotten word yet. But it looks like with a few misses coming in from Ukraine, the 3-way FC from China is in fact being enough to basically 3v4 the likes of Ukraine right now, keeping that scoreline at bay. Kulubra is going to find a miss, but he does take Lolo 235 down with him. And with that, the scoreline is going to continue to be extremely tight on margins here, moving into the first KI of the map. And here's where we're expecting to see a lot of these weird, awkward curve sliders come to attack these players. As of right now, still nobody has missed, but Lolo 235 is going to make me eat my words here. Hold up. What is happening?
I believe we're expecting an abort, right? Because we just saw LOL just stop playing. Primary is also not here, but doesn't seem like anything is happening. Hold on.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to do a check on that. Lolo 235 isn't playing as well. Abort. Hold up. This is.
Informed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Hold up. Maybe it's just taken a while, Maybe we needed that SOS message from Lolo 235 to get the message through. But we should be good to go very, very soon.
Well, yeah, I mean, in any case, the start was a bit rough, I would say, for both sides. So, an abort only. I don't think anyone's gonna be mad about that one.
Yeah, no. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
That was basically into the first KI. You know how angry I can get over aborts, but alas, we should be here. But while we are taking, hold on. Yeah, I know. But anyways, while we are taking a quick break to wait for the players to get back into the lobby, a huge shout outs to our lovely partners for the 4-Digit World Cup 2026. Of course, we have Slider Pals and Desu Life being our lovely partners for our prizes, for our prize pool. Thank you so much to Slider Pals and Desu Life for making the prize pool of 4WC possible and supporting us in any way they can. Alongside Yobimo Entertainment, our main sound design team, and also giving us a little bit of assistance in the back end when it comes to GFX and graphics. Go check out Yobimo. They're a multimedia label situated in the Philippines, and they have a lot of smaller artists. And so go check out their music if you are interested. Of that, we should be back to the map very, very soon.
Yeah, I really hope so. Primary is here. If a second abort happens, I'm really sure not gonna be an option to abort anymore if it happens on the side of China, since it's only one abort allowed per match from one team. So
I mean, do you think they'll be tripped up by this? I did think that Ukraine were finding a little bit of a shaky performance. Is that a roster swap? From Kick W here. Wait, is that legal, chat? Is that legal, chat? Not too sure about that one. But hopefully we should be back on reaction very, very soon. Anytime now. Now. We can't see the chat. We don't know.
All right, there we go.
Hold up. We are in. We are so back. We are so back. Just getting Bancho warmed up, we gotta get that. We gotta get the aborts out of our system. Gotta get the scuffness out of our system. But that's it. We are back on track here. And with that, China's gonna be the first one to find a miss. In fact, Primary gonna be the first one to go down, but still early days. A lot more to be desired on the onside of this map. So that's it. Let's get into free mod 1.
Yeah, so far still just the early days, the intersection out of the way. We're waiting for that first PI it claimed a bunch of players in the abort run. Let's see if this time anything's gonna happen to those. But yeah, so far we can clearly see that none of the teams are risking it with the mods. No one is over modding. Both teams are actually mirroring each other with the mod combination. So as far everything is stable for both countries. But now as we're entering the first KI, things might be changing soon enough. As here we are, more slider action, more of those flowy bursts are kicking in. But so far none of the players are finding any sort of difficulties.
Yeah, right now, Calibra and Lolo235 are having a much better time on the map. You know, last time during the KI, we saw them missing left, right, and center, but it looks like they are poised and ready to support their teams this time round. And we're in fact seeing an effective 8-way FC from the entire lobby, with the exception of maybe Primary's early miss. But it's not going to be enough to make any significant dent on the scoreline right now as we move out of the first KI with every single combo in one. And what an explosive start to the matchup. It's so tenuous.
Yeah, hold on. Like they just keep mirroring each other. It is extremely intense, extremely fragile for both teams as well. This is nothing compared to what we saw during that abort run. Well, a lot of players found breaks there, but this time around things are different. We're entering the second K. Finally someone falls, and it's from the side of China. Mid-C is here, which allows Ukraine to take the initiative.
Yeah, that's right. Ukraine are trying to swoop in for the kill right now, but Palma is going to find the miss. That is going to be the equalizing factor that China needs to bring it back. But hold up, Primary being the next one on the chopping block for the Chinese here, and now Ukraine are threatening a 3-way FC against China's too. Palma might continue to find a miss, but that's not who you need to go down. It's already 50k on the margins going to the last of the map. They're not in the clear just yet. You know, China can most definitely still make a comeback, but you need to hope for true misses from Ukraine's FC right now, and it's just it's going to be difficult to tell. We're moving into the jump spam section. This is where the aim of the map gets its most awkward, and yet everybody's still holding on. But hold up, Crystal on the bottom left unfortunately gets taken out, and with that Ukraine have an open hole that they're gonna fly straight through.
Yeah, indeed, Lolo, the strongest individual player of the tournament, is the only one trying to keep things together, to keep the rivalry clean. But now Ukraine, they do not really care. Finally, there is no one breaking. There is only more breaks coming in from China, and Lolo is gonna be the last one to fall on the side of it. While Ukraine, you look at the right side of the screen, a 3-way FC so far. 99, 96, 98% accuracy FCs, KW, and no unfortunate catastrophic collapse at the outro of the song. But Gamili, doesn't change the fact that Ukraine completely flipped the script on this one, and that is how your first pick is supposed to look like. 500k score difference.
Yeah, and with that, Ukraine showing, you know, a very, very explosive start to the matchup. Lower seeded team be damned. They just got out of Fremont 1 with a 500k score lead. That is one way. That is one way to upset your opponent here. And, you know, it just goes to show that perhaps Ukraine has an edge over these more consistency-based maps. And that is very, very valuable to have, especially when you're up against China. I'm, you know, a bit worried about how well China performs on this low end SR, you know, because, you know, we normally don't see it come up very often, especially from, you know, this range of seeds. But, you know, there is potential that China is starting to fall behind, or China may fall behind on the lower SRs.
Yeah, indeed. It might also be the abort factor that is playing in right now for China. Yeah, overall, lower SR, more accessible maps here, and the Ukraine getting the first point against Seed 5 team, looking quite prominent. Might open some other avenues into more consistency-based maps later down the line, but that is the thing they have to discuss within their team. Well, for China, they are a very much well-rounded team, so it's also kind of an unexplored territory for Ukraine. They haven't faced China, and this is the first match that China is playing in 4WC, and their first option is going to be that HR3. We're gonna hear some peak Daria core, man.
What do you mean? Well, this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. I believe the primary skill set of this map is going to be like mech tech. Like, you're expecting to see, you know, it's not, the BPM of this map is not fast enough to trip any one of these players in the lobby. You know, it's only at 193 BPM, but where this map drops a bit lower in terms of its sheer tapping intensity, it definitely makes up for it in terms of the finger control factor as well as the density. And density is really the key here, right? You have a lot of, how do I say it? It's freeform mapping, right? It's underscore Ethan, also known as Destiny by some people in the mapping community. And he's known for this very, very messy, explosive style of mapping. That's very, very fun to play. But when you put on Hard Rock, I mean, a different story may be told. But of course, it's important to remember that this map is CS3 before Hard Rock. So once you tag on Hard Rock onto it, it's only about 3.9. So in fact, the ER10 might be beneficial to some of these players and, lowering the densities. But we'll have to see how they fare on this one.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, just looking on paper, right? Thing is, they are really strong when it comes to tech. I mean, you mentioned Mac Tech. I'm also looking at qualifiers right now. We got Seed 6 and Nomad 4, which is another tech-heavy map. This one's also with Hard Rock, and China is not weak on Hard Rock by any means. They were within top 10 by seedings on both HR1 and HR2. So, those small circles, the control, the tech element that they have, all that in combination makes Hard Rock 3 a really good pick in theory. So should be working out for them. Ukraine, didn't really see Ukraine pick that many tech maps within the group stage. So Ukraine will really need to work hard to get a point in this one.
Yeah, definitely, right? Especially given the fact that it is China's pick. Given how this was their pick, of course, you're expecting them to go for this sort of pick to test the waters when it comes to the control. But I think this map presents a very nice balance amongst all of the control maps in the pool. It has a little bit of that tech element, definitely has a lot of that control element. Not too fast, it doesn't lean too hard into the mechanic aspect of it. So you can expect this map to be a pretty good analog into other maps down the line, right? I mean, I would bring up that number 3, but it is banned. So probably something like a Hidden 3 could be a good parallel to draw from this map, depending on the outcome of this Hard Rock 3. Oh, that's it. Let's go into this Hard Rock 3 already. I mean, to remind everybody, right? A lot of times the lower density of the AR-10 might be beneficial to some of these teams, but only time will tell here.
Yep, indeed. We're gonna be already seeing what this map has at stake. So far, all of the players don't seem to be getting tripped up. However, there's a break from Criterion, which now makes the situation 3 versus 4. Still, only first quarter, the map is going to get more and more dense and intense, and we're about to see it come true now. Another one from Criterion. No one else, however, is finding any sort of issues.
Yeah, right now we're moving into this first slider spam section of the map, and Crystal and Mahiro are both going to find misses at around the same time. Following up is going to be Z98 here, and Ukraine are in fact going to be the one taking the upper hand when it comes to the combo advantage. This is a very, very short map, talking at a little under 2 minutes. So, I mean, we're moving into the free combo section part. Ukraine's lead is only going to continue to go up and up, but as soon as the KI opens, it's the jaws of the KI catch Epima and Chrono 4G here, leaving Palma and Kulabra to defend that score lead from the side of Ukraine. Right now, it's just Lolo 235 to try to make the difference here, but Pima is going to go down. Down goes Culebra as well, and now it's just going to be a standoff between Palma and Lolo 235, and that's a battle that 235 unfortunately comes out on top of, but he does not get far here. The scoreline is very tenuous, but the support from China, it looks like it's going to be enough to keep that score in that ballpark.
Yeah, hold on. I mean, so far, China is on a knife's edge at this moment. They're walking on it. Ukraine is really polishing the blade to get that break point, but China seems like they finally got it under control. Those recoveries, especially the big one from Crystal, is truly what's gonna prevent the break point, the catastrophe from happening right here. That HR3 was really risky, but eventually China took over. It's 1-1. So far, everything is stable for both teams.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing much to be commented here. I think we are already beginning to see a very clear dichotomy between both of these teams, right? You have Ukraine taking the high ground on the standard mechanics, the more accessible maps in the pool, and meanwhile, China, although a bit shaky, in the beginning of the Hard Rock 3, eventually did come out on top with a rather decisive final difference of 234k. So I think China can be pretty confident in their control picks later down the line. But that's it. It's back to the drawing board for Ukraine here, right? You know, there are quite a few maps that they could go into based off their victory on the Fremont one. I'm looking at all the one slots being naturally good picks for them. But I mean, do you have any insights that you can give on this?
I mean, the thing with Ukraine is that they kind of always pick a bit different maps. I mean, that's the tendency we saw in group stage. They used to ban different maps. They used to pick different maps in every round. They had those different strategies, you know. For example, against Norway, they used to pick a lot of hard rocks, while for against Vietnam, they used to pick more of those control maps. Same for those matches where they faced Rush, for example. So it's really an open board for them. But I would say, you look at China, they got rid of the Fremont 4, right? It's an old map. I feel like control. I feel like control is the way here.
Really, for Ukraine?
Yeah.
For you, I mean, but you're just coming out of a Hard Rock 3 victory from China. I can't help but imagine that could be a bit risky for them to go into, but it looks like they will be doing just that. Looks like the no GT4 is going to be picked out here.
Yep. It's invisible. It is very well. Obviously, all the DD4s are there, extremely funky. This one, first of all, banger song. I believe this is Paz's personal favorite map of the pool.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
But yeah, it is your unconventional slider aim, DT aim overall, which you're looking at right here. Yeah, that's the description I have. Funky slider aim map. So.
Yeah, a lot of big sliders. You know, where the Hard Rock 3 that we saw before was a good mix between circle and slider tech. This map leans very, very heavily into the slider element to the point where, you know, I wouldn't call it slider tech. I would just call it slider gimmick. Really, that's the main pool of a map like this. This is a map by the lovely Blue Dragon, and you know, with DT, I do believe this map clocks all the way up to 171 BPM. So definitely the slowest map in the DT pool by far, but it does bring it a little bit closer to the 193 that we just saw from the Hard Rock 3. Again, Philoxen, I'm personally very worried about Ukraine when they are going for any sort of control map in this pool, just based off the fact that, you know, the Hard Rock 3 was very nicely and rather decisively won by China. Even though, you know, it was a bit shaky, I still do think that there might have been better picks for Ukraine, you know, apart from more control. But I will say, if they do manage to assert their dominance on this GT4, it does make picking control for China a lot more risky later on in the matchup. But we'll have to see if this one pays off. This is perhaps the weirdest control map that we have in the pool, so, you know, perhaps they have something up their sleeve.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I mean, overall, this is what happens when you have two teams and their skill sets are kind of overlapping with each other. Both teams are quite proficient when it comes to control. But this DT4 though, I mean, you could say that it's a bit similar to the DT3 that we had in group stage, but I still say that it plays very much differently. So kind of an uncharted territory, and I would not be surprised if this point went either way. Right now, Chen doesn't seem to be in the lobby, so probably hard practice in the map. Yeah, that's for a reason. That's not the type of map you would see in tourneys very often. And I think this is what truly makes this pick very, very interesting.
Yeah, no, and you're always expecting an interesting pick whenever you're looking at a DT4 map, right? And, you know, that has to be a reason why this is Pez's favorite pick of the pool. You know, it has to be a little bit weird. I will say, though, that I will also say that there is a lot of variety to be desired in this map, right? A lot of different slider shapes that come to attack you. You have sliders that go in on each other, a lot of curvy sliders with various slider shapes. It's one of those maps where, you know, at some point you need to make a trade-off between keeping your combo or your accuracy, because this map becomes a lot easier to aim if you just ignore the slider ends, which you most definitely can. But the question is, you know, at this low of an SR, do you really want to risk losing that much accuracy against your opponent, especially if that's the main point of contention when you get into the later stages of the map? And in addition to that, right, this is really a map that throws your cursor all around because of the high slider velocity and the size of these sliders. All these sliders are very, very big, so naturally your cursor is going to be thrown into very awkward positions, given the awkward shapes that this map presents with its sliders. But with that said, we will be going into DT4. Again, this will be a very valuable pick for Ukraine to win if they do manage to emerge victorious on it. But, at the end of the day, coming out of a Hard Rock 3 loss, coming out of a control pick loss is always going to be a mental barrier that you will need to overcome. But we'll have to see if they can right their wrongs from Hard Rock 3 in this DT4.
Indeed, and Ukraine is pulling out their strongest control players in the lobby. I mean, we already know about the duo of Roman and Yurama, and there's also Cooler Bra, who did really well in that 3-1. Same for KW, who's overall super strong when it comes to ult and aim. And so far, they are holding the Bastion, is standing well for China. If you look over there, my heroes with a break here. It's just 3 FCs now. LOL and Crystal are still standing. And they do not want to let go of Ukraine, but so far this is everything. This is exactly what Ukraine is putting up. They need to see at least one more break from China, and then they will have that good opportunity to get a second point on the board. Makiro is not being able to get any sort of recovery, which is only adding fuel to the fire if you are a Chinese fan.
Yeah, that's right, but Poma is going to find the miss to trade things up, so now the FCs are tied up 3-3. It's really on a knife edge right now, right? It's just going to be up to who is the next one to find the miss, who is the next team to find the miss. But as we move into the tail end of the map, looks like it's going to continue to stagnate, albeit very, very tenuously around that 50k margin right now. Any miss can shake things up, and in fact, China is looking slowly but surely win it back with the accuracy, but I don't know. I mean, I do believe there is one more difficult section, one more diff spike, but the scoreboard is gonna open up, and these players see what is at stake. 18k separates both of these teams. It's currently a 3 versus 3 matchup here. If Mahiro misses, that might even be enough to push it all the way to Ukraine's side, but it's all going to come down to how badly these players want this point, how badly they want to hold, and who can hold for longer, moving the last sections of the map, and it just barely shifts over the 32k in the last seconds. They can't keep getting away with this.
This is not okay. This is a heartbreak in real time right here for this pick, especially considering it was Ukraine's pick, right? It was DD4, and it was working out for them. China basically just stole it from them at the very end of the map. Just their daylight robbery, what can I say? But yeah, Gamil, in the meantime, there is a thing that we I'm pretty sure need to sadly announce.
It might sound like adding salt to the wound of Ukraine right now, but it does look like my early suspicion was unfortunately proven correct. Earlier on I did pick up on KW subbing in for who was it? Who was it again?
That was Criterion.
Was it not KW subbing in for
same
Krona 4G? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the names, but yeah, on that Fremont one, they shouldn't have allowed KW to sub in for Criterion there, and unfortunately, it slipped past our team. So with that, I do believe we will be seeing a replay on this Fremont one. Honestly, a shame considering that it was a 500k lead going in favor of Ukraine, but rules are rules, and unfortunately, we have to follow them. But yeah, I mean, even so, I do think that was a very dominant pick for Ukraine. China need to really, turn over a new leaf, really come with a whole different attitude to this Fremont 2 if they want to win it. That was a 500k lead going to Ukraine, and I don't even know if Criterion being there would have changed the outcome, but if that's the case, then I think they are more than favored on a map like this.
Yeah, indeed. By the replaying the map, it also means that the current point that Ukraine has to be nullified, right?
Yeah, for now.
For now, yeah. But it has to become 0, so do not get confused. It's a rare occasion happening in tournaments, but well, if Ukraine has consistency, which, I mean, we saw Ukraine definitely put up very valiant efforts on the 2 previous maps, and considering the dominant performance we saw on Fremont 1, they still have it. Should be a very clear point right here. Of course, it's going to be substituted. Chrono 4G is now here, not KW, and that might change things, but right now, being the only one missing, it's still not gonna change pretty much anything because it's all until the first KI. This is where the real action began last time.
Yeah, I will say though, China is starting on a lot better of a foot than they were during the first 2 times that they played this map. Wait, this is the 3rd time that we're seeing this map get loaded in. At this point, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. But with that said, we're moving into the first build-up here, and Lolo235 is going to be the first one, the first real miss to go down. That is going to cause a dent on the scoreline, but it's going to be a matter of how well Ukraine can play off it. Lolo235 finding yet another miss. It looks like we're reverting back to their performance in the first KI, but hold up, on the side of Ukraine, the entirety of the right side has fallen. Chrono 4G and Epima both finding misses at the exact same time. That's not quite what you want to see, as Primaries coming in hot with the recovery here. And with that, you have 2 FCs to 2, with Primary being the X factor for China here, going out of this first KI.
Yeah, last time Primary was finding breaks left and right, but now he is one of the ones leading the charge. 100k already. China is taking the initiative right here, trying to take it all the way to the very end of the map. First KI into it, 3 FCs so far, only 2 FCs from Ukraine, from Cooler Brian Roman. Right now, not looking great. They need to see more breaks coming in from China to get that first point that they have already had.
Oh, and Kruna 4G unfortunately finding yet another miss is not going to do them any favors whatsoever here. Even Lolo235, right, has finally found their footing here. 500 combo on the board here, and we're moving into the second half of the map. That blade is getting sharper and sharper from China, and they're not looking to show any mercy this time round. Ukraine are, at wit's end here. Already a 250k lead going in favor of the left side, and it's only going to continue to go up and up as Kulabra and Poma try as they may. It's not going to be enough, as they just don't have enough firepower to overcome China right now.
Yeah, like it's not even about oh my god, it's not that Ukraine. I know, right? It's just China this time. This time China is at a whole different level. Still a 3-way FC and Lolo with the recovery. He is the main carrier, and right now his team is carrying Lolo in return. Finally a break from mid-C. But you need to see more. You need to see a catastrophical collapse on the side of China. A total explosion, because 390k is not gonna shrink on itself. Ukraine is holding. They're doing everything they can. There is a 2.5-way FC right now coming in from them. But China is unfazed.
Yeah, right now, I mean, last time you saw Primary and Crystal being the ones to drop the combo, right? But this time round, it's only Ukraine to falter. Poma is going to be the next one to go down, the next FC to go down, and it's just going to be Kulabra and Epima being caught in between a rock and a hard place. Primary and Crystal beating down on the Ukrainian roster, not looking to give up this point for the 3rd time. The 3rd time's the charm, as they like to say, for China, as they take yet another point, a heartbreaking way to lose it. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's rough. That's really rough, Philoxen. That's really rough. I feel that. I feel that. Oh my goodness. After coming back from a Hard Rock 3 that was definitely winnable, to a DT4 that they lost by a measly 18k, to another 5 point that unfortunately went to the side of China. Man. That's rough.
Yeah,
and
now China's also
rough.
And now China's also picking.
Oh my goodness, this is just... Oh man. Oh man. Oh, that's gonna be, again, a big mental block for Ukraine, and they need to overcome it, right? Easier said than done, of course, but they have to do it. I cannot imagine it being easy for the Ukrainian roster, having to lose 3 points just like that. And, given how it is China's next pick, I cannot imagine that they're having the best feeling or the best mental in the team chat right now, but they cannot afford to give up right now.
Yeah, indeed. For China, if you're looking at them, and they won all the control maps, even the ones they didn't pick themselves. And that just opens up more and more opportunities. So I'm looking in particular that, Hard Rock pulled that. There's still 2 maps left, and considering China, arguably Hard Rock is their strongest skill set overall as a whole, so could be that. They could also maybe try and go for some of the gimmick maps, like Frima 2, if you are discussing that, considering Ukraine got rid of 2 other gimmick maps, and Frima 2 is the only anti-mode left. So there is just so many options for China and way less options for Ukraine, because with each pick they lose, it just shrinks more and more.
Well, I definitely think that, China want to go for something control related. Oh my goodness, Hard Rock 2, man. Crystal Hard Rock 2. We're gonna see Crystal Hard Rock 2. I think Hard Rock 2 is like Crystal's most famous strong suit. I think if we had to pinpoint a single, I mean, Crystal's good at a whole host of skill sets, but Hard Rock 2 in particular, I mean, Crystal always seems to deliver, not just on the Hard Rock 2, but the free mod 2 or the anti-mod with Hard Rock. Crystal is always a beast on these precision picks, and I think that's the game plan for China going in for this Hard Rock 2. And Flopson, Hard Rock 2 is not really a pick that we see a lot of teams go for. It's one of the, typically in most matches, or at least the matches that I've seen thus far, Hard Rock 2 is one of those maps that are really left on the wayside to be picked later on in the match, just given how volatile a skill set like Precision is. But, China's really one of those teams, because they have, the buffer, because they have the safety net that is Crystal. They're one of those teams that can take an aggressive stance or take an aggressive attack with the Hard Rock 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were seed 3 on Hard Rock 2 in qualifiers, which was another precision map. And this Hard Rock 2 is, of course, precision, but it's also old map. It's a map from 2012, if I recall correctly. It has really big spacing between between the nodes, so the jumps are quite brutal on this one. For example, in comparison to Nomad 5 that you also have, which is also a precision map. This one just tests your entire area and really, really requires you to have your cursor on point, spot on. Because if not, it's really easy to break, especially after the second KI. You have the div spike with those awkward aim patterns that have crazy spacing as well, and they're just extremely easy to break on. Well, you have China. You already mentioned the entire name power they have when it comes to precision Hard Rocks as a whole, so yeah. In theory, it should be working out for them really, really well. Well, for Ukraine, it's gonna be looking like an uphill battle, and we're seeing Evil Baller join in for Ukraine.
Yeah, and this is a map uploaded in 2012 by the Chinese. I call him I will call him a mapper, but this is the only map that he has submitted by the Chinese mapper Upari here. And as you mentioned before, right, it's going to test your whole play area, but it's also going to test in a way that's very, very awkward. A lot of the flow is very uncomfortable, reminiscent of that 2012 O map era. And so, you're expecting to see a lot of consistently spaced jumps that are just mapped as though, the mapper just felt like putting them anywhere. I will say there is a flow to this kind of map, but I cannot imagine it being easy for any one of these players having to play it on that CS 6.5. The standard Hard Rock 2 circle size, but it doesn't make things any easier, of course.
Indeed, the map is also really long, almost 4 minutes in range, 3 minutes 50 seconds. So there's a long way
Try not to fall asleep. You will be punished for blinking. You will be punished for dozing off on a map like this.
Yep, exactly.
The song is so chill compared to how intense this map is, right?
I agree. It sounds like Lullaby, while in reality this is like one of the most diabolical maps that you have in the pool. Maybe it's not visible right now, but here you will be able to see more of those space patterns, more of those awkward sections, and so far both teams are holding on, but that's only the first quarter of the map that we have passed.
Yeah, no, and the jumps are slowly but surely getting more intense here. Lolo 235 is going to be the first one to go down, or the first notable miss, ignoring what Criterion has, but Evil Baller is going to be the next one on the chopping block. So you have 3 large combos versus 3 large combos from both of the teams at play here. But the scoreline is going to shift in favor of Ukraine off the back of a minor accuracy lead, but that can shift at any moment. The scoreboard is going to open up. Evil Bonner not too happy about that miss. Kulibra, in fact, very happy about holding that FC, it seems. The duality of man. Ah, yes, the duality of man.
No, but a break from Criterion is gonna change things. Oh my god, escape for China. No, oh god. One by one, everyone just lost their full combos. Z9, Crystal Micro. What happened? We just blinked. We just blinked, and now Ukraine is here with the lead.
Blink and you miss it for both the players and us casters. The song definitely doesn't do it justice, you know. It's such a chill lullaby song. Kulabra. The glaze, the glaze.
Roman go.
Warranted.
Roman go.
What does that
and
mean?
Roman
What does that
indeed
mean?
is going. I mean, he is popping off right now with 98 being the only full combo in the lobby. But yeah, sneaky combo reset right here on the side of China.
Combo reset.
Which only allows
Cheeky
Ukraine to
reset.
dominate. Never mind! This map is just brutal. It's punishing
okay,
everyone. Nobody's been able to hold any sort of recover. Just Crystal and Cooler Brow with 150 combos, but that's nothing.
I'd like to thank Pez for this phenomenal map. I'm sure the players are very happy to play this right now. Crystal being the only notable combo alongside Kulabra as well for the side of Ukraine. On this map right now, and can you really blame them, right? This is such a brutal map that KI in particular is just completely unfair. If anything, I would say that this map is KI favored, but even though you can't really say that when the entire map is just consistently messed up. But that's it. Hopefully, I don't think there are any more jump scares from this map. Just, you know, gonna be more consistency being demanded of these players. The map is gonna slowly ramp up just a little bit here. Ukraine keeping that lead in their ballpark right now as every single combo is matching their adversaries on the other side here. Nothing much to comment on, but hold up. Kulabra on the bottom. So they're unfortunately gonna find a miss here, giving Crystal all the leg room they need to take it back. But the scoreline is not moving fast enough. And as Lolo235 finds the miss, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's gonna go fast enough as Ukraine. But also, I think they might have done it. I think the mental reset is working. I think the mental yeah, all right.
No spin to win here. China
All right.
might have taken the DD4, but
All right.
HR2 is what Ukraine is definitely keeping and protecting here. That's also a breakpoint. That's a big momentum that Ukraine just got here. And now they have the right to determine the next pick that Fremont won. All those previous maps hopefully are not going to throw them off that match. This is the point that they really needed. First one on the board, and it all takes 1 point to start a good run in the match. So now that Ukraine...
Hey, you mean it takes a second point? This is like, if we were going...
It is actually a second point,
If they had the rights, if the rules allowed them to get a Fremont 1, we technically be tied up here. But alas, it's gonna be 3-1. And hey, I'm telling you, bro, like Ukraine's sleeper agent on this control. I was a doubter of you, but I think you might be onto something here.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, there is a reason... Well, Ukraine might have banned
So I need a replay.
There is a
Evil
reason
bot.
they might... Wait, what?
Look at that. Let's do a poll, chat. Let's do a poll.
No, we're good.
At everyone.
And Ukraine left open that other precision map, so like they definitely did not feel weak on precision in this pool. And yeah, there is Nomad 5 still left, which is a CS7 map, which might be one of the later picks. I'm not sure you want to go into another precision map right away, right after you won Hard Rock 2 by only 80k, which is very, it wasn't a stable victory. Almost came down to the wire. So Nomad 5 is on the board now for Ukraine, but I do not know if they want to opt into it that fast.
Yeah, no. I mean, China, I was thinking about it, right? I think China's picks are getting a bit dicey here. They don't really have anything that they can shoot off. Can you do a quick check? How good are they on these mechanics maps?
Oh, that is a good question, because I mean,
Yeah, because early rounds are always determined by mechanics, right?
Well, considering this is the first match that China's playing, you can only see those qualifier scores, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and according to the qualifiers, I mean, China got seed 33 on Normal 2, which is quite low, and seed 11,
that's
seed 1,
beautiful.
D2, DD3. So, for Ukraine, tap-in looks more favored than to China. So, I don't think we are going to be seeing tapping from China anytime soon. But in the meantime, what we're going to be seeing is HD1 actually picked by Ukraine.
Yeah, no, I was talking about how, you know, going off the back of, well, their initial performance or their initial victory on the Fremont one, it does tell us that, you know, on a whole, Ukraine is a bit stronger when it comes to the more generic consistency A maps of the sport. This map is anything but generic, but I do think that it somewhat parallels what we just saw from the DT2. I mean, the Hard Rock 2, pardon me. The Hard Rock 2 featured a lot of, you know, closely packed aim agility based aim. And I think this Hard Rock 1, this hidden one also falls into that same ballpark. A lot of speedy aim that are very, very closely packed together, but requires a lot of, you know, sharp angle changes, sharp angular changes, and it is a lot of consistent jumps, a lot of consistently awkward jumps. Of course, the only difference, the key difference being the hidden on the hidden one, and the small CS on the Hard Rock 2. So I do think that this, given the context of the matchup that we just seen, given the context of the picks that we have seen Ukraine be rather consistent on before, I think this hidden one is a very good shot from them. Very good pick from the captain as well, I must say.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Very overall unconventional name HD1 that we have here. It's quite tricky. I mean, you have to be good at hidden to actually play this map really well. It has those different spacings between those jumps all the time, despite them being awkward as well. So it's just quite obscure to play, but it's a really fun map. And yeah, I could draw a parallel from HD1 to Fremont 1. Especially except that this HD1 doesn't really have bursts at all. It's just that you have to rely on your aim, on your control to rely on your area. Yeah, we see finally the lineups in the lobby. Still 3-1.
Oh my goodness! This map on hidden is so unfair, right? Because there's so many sharp angle changes, and a lot of times these angle changes are things that you do based off your intuition, your muscle memory. So you know, when you have the hidden tagged onto it, that's just a whole nother layer of uncertainty that comes to, you know, playing a map like this. Already you get to see all the wide angle jumps coming to attack these players, right? This is hidden one at its finest, the classic awkward aim hidden one that you speak of in the gospel. And in addition to that, right, this map is of a slightly lower AR than your typical A maps at this SR. It's not 9.6, not 9.7, it's actually 9.3. So, you know, just a little bit more density for these players to contend with. Early stages of the map, Kulabra and Z90 are going to be the first ones to find misses. We'll see if any more join them later on.
Yep, and then here we are, finally kickstarting that first KI. Z9 finding a break. Still a three-way FC from China, Ukraine trading that, not allowing anything to go under their grip. China though, dropping another one from Lolo. Roland is trading it immediately, which once again gets us in a very risky position. Ukraine was 1 FC on Irama, but Kulabra was a recovery. Northern FC compared to China's double. Mitzi and Crystal are here and they're already knocking the door. China, they want to return the favor for that break point. It's only first third into the map, but so far they have the momentum, especially after break from Irama. That is a big one. This one echoes across the lobby, and China is now trying to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it's on maps like this where, you know, you have the tension between, do I snap or do I flow in these patterns? Because it's just a bit too slow for you to flow or flow in these patterns. You know, you want to single tap it, but naturally, right, snapping to these, all of these angular changes are always going to be very tiring on your right hand. And, you know, where this map really becomes difficult is in its drain times. Over the course of the map, your aim begins to falter, your focus begins to falter. When you have the hidden, that's not something that you want. And Chrono 4G, unfortunately, gonna find the miss just as the next KI opens up. Already, Ukraine seem to be at their wits' end for this Hard Rock 1, for this hit. Man, what's wrong with me? For this hidden one, Z98 is going to be the one to trade it out on the side of China, but that's not who you need to go down. Lolo 233 and Mitzi both find misses here, but there is no response from Ukraine, no counterattack from Ukraine as Crystal continues to stand atop. Crystal does find a miss, however, but so hold up. Roman might have something up his sleeves, but he needs to hold. There's about 250k on the margin. Let's see if he can make it.
Yeah, Roman is here with 600 combo. He smells blood in the water. 230k to go. Corona finds a break, but that's not who China wants to see a break coming from. The time is still here. It's enough for Roman to turn pressure into power. Look at them. Ukraine with a recovery as well from Roman Cooler Bra. They are looking forward to getting that second point in a row. China is trying their best to prevent another point from going to Ukraine's favor, but they just cannot stop the bleeding. Ukraine is only pouring salt on the open wound of China.
Oh my goodness, it is so tight on the margins right now. Roman, try as he may, it's unfortunately not gonna be enough to pass the line as Roman unfortunately finds the miss here. And with that, China is just gonna continue to maintain the lead that they have been for the entirety of this map. Oh, that is heartbreaking. Ukraine, just a continuous story of unfortunate events for Loxon. Well,
yeah,
this is so sad. This is so sad.
If Cooler and Roman kept holding, they would have had it. They would have had it in the bag. We've been 2-3, but now just 4-1. And yeah, there's a 3-point deficit between the two. And the worst part is that once again, Gamil, is China. They can pick the next map, not Ukraine. That's a break point. China, in fact, did return the favor. After losing the break point of their own, they took it back right away.
Yeah, I mean that's the risk that you gotta incur when you're going up against a top 8 seed, right? There's a reason why there is a 7 seed difference between both of these teams, albeit, you know, Ukraine has been putting up more than a stellar showing, but at the end of the day, right, China can always just take a point back. And when you're going into a map as volatile as the Hidden One, sometimes one carry performance is all you need to take your team all the way. And this time around, China just had Crystal. And also for that Fremont one as well. Man, the Crystal, dude. Shit.
I know, right? Yeah. Okay, China. What do we do here?
I mean, the world is their oyster, apart from the DTs. They can really go into anything but the tapping.
Yeah, I in fact say that Ukraine might be the one going for the tapping
They have to.
later. They kind of have to, because there's not many options left that they can be sure they will win. Well, compared to tapping, I mean, you already have it. China banned DD2, so you might go for it later. But right now it's about China, and China is going for free mod 2. The map that is an anti-mode, CS5 AR8. Another one from Inabakumori, a very slow-paced one, but after all...
Man, why are all these precision maps so sneaky? They're also vibey.
They are also Ivy indeed. Thing is, I already brought it up a couple of minutes ago. Ukraine, they banned 2 gimmick heavy maps, the Nomad 3 and AG2. And Fremont 2 is another one that you could put into that category of gimmicks. So I feel like it makes sense. And China has really strong gimmick players.
Yeah, I think what they're banking on here, what Ukraine is banking on here, is that their hard rocks will be able to carry them through a map like this. It's either that, or they just have more. They like have 2 players that can play the AR8, but don't have enough players to play. They don't have 4 players that they need to field on the Hidden 2. In essence, you might even be more inclined to say that a map like Fremont 2 is more accessible to the team, because you can opt for the precision instead of the AR8 Hidden. And maybe that's what Ukraine is gearing towards, right? Maybe they want to go 2 Hiddens, 2 hardbox, 2 hardbox, 1 Hidden. But the point is, right, they don't need to fill a full roster of 4 on this Fremont 2, as they would need to if they left the Hidden 2 up for pickings here. And given how Ukraine did come out on top, did they? Wait, they won the Hard Rock 2, right? I'm not tripping.
Ukraine won Hard Rock 2, yes.
Yeah, they did win Hard Rock 2. Given how Ukraine did win Hard Rock 2, I think they are just looking to bounce off that confidence. Of course, this map and the Hard Rock 2 that we just saw before are vastly different maps, right? 2 completely different time periods. But, you know, some core elements still remain consistent here. You're expecting to see a lot of circle control to be had here. You know, some XL, decel patterns that only get more difficult when the map is CS 6.5 or AR8 Hidden is applied to it. So, Yeah, a bit of a. It's of all the picks that I expected Ukraine to go for, Fremont 2 was not really that high on my priority list, but I can see why they would want to go for it.
Yeah, indeed. Well, the question whether it will work out for Ukraine or not, even considering all the factors that, yeah, they do not need old gimmick players, they can bat on precision as well. It works on paper, but with how consistent China is in this match, it's definitely gonna be a hard pill to swallow if you lose this one. And we're looking at Fujiwara and Moku with easy. So that is gonna be a 2x easy multiplier. That is already counted into the board, so we do not need to count anything. What you're seeing on the screen is the difference, is the lead that is going to be occurring, counting in the easy multiplier. So nothing to worry here. And LOL, of course, joining the trend here.
Man, I mean, you were talking about it before, right? I'm a bit pissed that I didn't mention it before, but I forgot to mention that, you mentioned how China has strong gimmick players, and Easy was definitely a pathway that they could have taken, and it looks like 2 players decided to go for that. And when you have Easy, right, if you're confident on Easy, I would say that Easy is a lot easier to play on this map compared to the AR8 Hidden. So, it's a matchup between Easy versus Hard Rock, 2 opposing ends of the spectrum. So Ukraine best be confident in what they can pull off on the Hard Rock. But don't even talk about the Hard Rock right now. Talk about the Hidden on the side of Ukraine. And this map is no easy feat to pull off. Consistency on this map is no easy feat to pull off when you are tasked with the plight of the AR8 Hidden play. And unfortunately, Evo Borna will be the first one on the chopping block for this rematch, giving China the early lead, about 100k on the board and growing.
Yeah, and I mean, Magneta is one of the stronger gimmick players for Team Ukraine, but right now, not having that strong recovery. That's the only difference between the 2 countries at the moment. 1 break from China, and it's all very much comebackable for Ukraine from this moment. It's only halfway through the map, 140k score difference. If we see at least 1 break from China, that's gonna do a lot for Ukraine. But so far, China is holding on to their combos like their life depends on them. Oh my god!
I mean, they have that easy buffer, right? And we always like to say, 2 times easy multiplier is super powerful for teams who can afford the easy. As I'm talking, Christerion unfortunately will be going down alongside Evil Bona as well. That's going to be a Hidden and Hard Rock going down from the side of Ukraine. Meanwhile, no cracks in the arm of China. Okay, well, as I say that, unfortunately, Law 235 is going to find that miss, but still 3 FCs on the board for China here against Ukraine's 1. And I don't want to call it too soon for Loxon, but I think it's already over. Oh man, even
yeah, more and more breaks here. LOL dropping the full combo, but it doesn't matter. As well as 3-way FC, China is just taking the lead, and I don't know, just multiply on what they have, what normal teams would have had the difference against Ukraine by 3 or 4 times. Already 450k score difference between the 2, and it's only counting. Z9 finally with a break, was that no mod. Valiant effort put up by KW and Roman, but it's not gonna matter whatsoever. 5-1 is gonna be the ending for China. Still not the end of the world for Ukraine, but they're gonna be 1 step closer to finishing it off. And Fujiwara was holding an SS until a couple of seconds ago.
I was trying not to say anything. Which is
actually mad. It's just mad.
Yeah, no, that scoreline is breaking the scoreboard right now. But yeah, that's why I was so worried about Ukraine going in for a pick like this, right? Because I don't think it's the gimmick prowess or the low AR gimmick prowess that you need to worry about. It's the easies that are very dangerous when you're going up against a roster like China. And of course, Crystal on the Hard Rock is the consistency king when it comes to Hard Rock anti-mod. So yeah, with that, China going to take a very decisive break point against Ukraine, getting a 100, almost a 900k difference on this free mod 2. And with that, China will be taking this match to break point. Oh, sorry, match point. Been a while since I've been in the booth.
happens. Yeah. Oh, 5-1. Ukraine, I feel like as a last resort option, you need to go into tapping mechanics. That's like the only option that's speaking to me right now. If it's not, then I'm not sure whether Ukraine will be able to take a point. Because we tried control, didn't really work out, except for Haruk too.
Yeah, but at least
D3
they
Noma
got...
too, I feel like. Yeah.
Do you think DT3? Yeah, no, definitely, right? Those are the two hard mechanics maps that you have in the pool. I don't know how confident Ukraine is, but come on, it's China, right? It's China. The difference in SR between the round of 16 and qualifiers isn't that big, so wouldn't be surprised if they went for it. But it does look like it's gonna be... Wait, is
No
it
one's for it.
right? Oh, yeah, it looks like it is. Number 4 is going to be picked out by Ukraine, so not going to be leaning into the mechanics even at all. And we're instead going to double down into more tech, more control.
Yeah. I guess if you want to go down, you go down swinging. Nomad 4, if it doesn't work out, then it's 6-1. If it does work out, then...
Mechanics is the coward strat, you know? Like, why would you get a free point on mechanics if you could just duke it out on number 4? No more tech, the most accessible control map in the pool. I'm gonna get flamed for that one.
Well, yeah, I would not say so, especially considering it's one of our customs, Gamili.
One of our customs by who?
Yeah, Friendly Fire, good job, man. It's a custom from Vox. And yeah, I mean, what I was about to say is that Vox overall, one of my favorite tech mappers, right? And like all of his tech maps, they're hard, but they're actually fun to play and quite enjoyable. If you are quite good at control, which Ukraine is. The only problem is that I'm pretty sure China are, by all the means, they are not weak when it comes to tech.
Oh really?
I mean, they were one of the highest seeded teams when it came to Nomad 4 and qualifiers, getting seed 6 here. And it didn't...
I think
this one doesn't change much from the one we saw in qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, this Nomad 4 is really your cookie cutter Nomad 4, right? It's a phenomenal map, don't get me wrong, by Vox, but I think it tests a very nice balance of skill sets. You have your techie finger control, you have the slider tech element, right? A very big slider tech element as Vox is very well known for. And of course, that comes together to present a map that's very dense, reminiscent of a lot of tech maps in this era. I will say though, this Vox as a mapper is a bit different, a bit of a different flavor of tech compared to mappers like Nuge or Azrock, who are known for big sliders. Vox tones the sliders a little bit, tones the sliders back by a little bit to make some more room for finger control, make some more room for, tapping. But at the end of the day, to the untrained eye, all tech maps look the same. And yeah. Big fan of this number 4, by the way. It's a banger song. I love this song so much. I love Shino Mirin. I learned about this artist from Vox's custom map, and it's great. It's great. You should check out this stuff.
Yeah,
not
totally. Both song on the map, quite worth noticing. But yeah, overall, how it's gonna go is that you have control and tech in the first 3 quarters of the map, and then the last quarter, the last KI, is where you have the spaced 5-node bursts that are also going to be blended into the tech section. So quite a challenge here for Ukraine. It's a big ask to win this map, but that's what they need to stay in this match. They're up against some of the strongest control players of China, Crystal and Lol, of course. We're going to be trying to keep Ukraine from getting the second point on the board. And here we are with the intro. Irama finding a break. It's not going to be that great considering... Well, the map is not super long, but it's also not that short. So misses do matter, but those from the beginning, that's crucial. It's just strategical misses, Gamili. 3 strategical misses from Irama, KW, and Roman. After that, we just need to hope that they hold to get a second point. My hero is trading them. 3-way FC from China and 1-way FC from Ilbalna right here from Ukraine as we're entering the first KI. So far, not looking that great for Ukraine, not according to their plan.
Yeah, I hear the chuckles I'm in danger giggle from your voice for Loxan, as Evil Balna is going to be the next one to go down outside of Ukraine right now. I mean, Arema is trying their best to hold down the fort, right? Being the only notable combo on the side of Ukraine right now. And he is going to outlast the likes of my hero moving into the next bout of the KI here. But they need to hope for more blood to spill from the side of China if they want to continue to stay in the game. Evil Born are going to be the next one to go down in this KI. And that's not going to do them any favors whatsoever. Already a 300k score lead going in favor of China as they hold not just the combo, but the accuracy lead as well. I mean, Pima trying their best. And, with KW on their right hand, it might be possible, but not enough damage is being done to the Chinese right now for Loxon. It's just so difficult to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, those misses in the beginning from Ukraine were indeed strategical because they are actually recovering really well right now. Problem is, that is not enough. China was a 3-way FC blowing them out of the water. No room for error from Ukraine is allowed. And even if they don't,
bro.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because China is just here and they are. They just completely pushing their limits. My hero is the only one without an FC. Everyone else is just in a different realm at this point. Getting that 6 point, it's a done deal. Despite Ukraine holding on really well at the end in sections, Roman and KW are here with very respectable scores. It's just nothing that you can do here. My hero and mid-C finding breaks, but still 2 massive scores from Lowell and Crystal are gonna finish off this match.
Yep, I mean, the 3-way hyper carry, right? The trio of China here, Lolo 235, Mitzi, and Crystal coming out on top with a incredible 970, 897, and 791k scores, respectively. Phenomenal way to close out a matchup, and what a dominant way to close things off on your opponent's breakpoint, no less. With that said, China will be moving forward in the round of 16, moving forward to the winner's side of quarterfinals, and unfortunately, Ukraine will be dropping down to the loser's bracket.
Yep, indeed, well played here from China. Good effort from Ukraine as well. We're not saying goodbye to any of those teams because we're gonna see both of them next weekend, so go anywhere if you are a fan of either of those countries. But for now, Gamili, we don't really have time to wait because we have another match coming up really soon. In fact, it was supposed to start 10 minutes ago, but this one took a bit longer than expected. It's United Kingdom versus France, which I believe we will be back really soon with. But until then, Gamili, I believe everything we needed to say was already said.
Oh wait, no, one last thing. If you are down, if you can't wait, do hop on over to Osu French Live. They are currently doing the broadcast for United Kingdom versus France, but of course 4WC will have our own coverage. Before we go, huge shout outs to our sponsors, Slider Pals, Kagami Studios, and Your Bimo Entertainment. This 4WC would not be possible without you guys. With that it. With that, I think we can head off. My name has been Gavin Kurla, his name has been Floxen, and we'll be back live very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.